was a whirlwind day. Protesters flocked to Miami to be part of the historic hearing. Former President Donald Trump left court earlier this evening. He boarded his plane to head back to Bedminster, New Jersey, where he is expected to address the charges. So we wanted to figure out what this means for Trump's future. Joining us now is UCF political science professor John Hanley. John, thank you for being here. First off, of course, the question is, how will this impact his campaign? Will it help? Will it hurt?
Well, I think in a general election, it's likely to have a negative impact. More immediately in the primary, I think it's going to at least be neutral, likely positive. It brings all of conservative media and Republican elected office holders behind him. They're going to circle the wagons. We've even seen from his challengers for the 2024 Republican nomination, they're taking his side. That gives him some, increased power and makes it more difficult for them to attack him in the future.
So there's been no precedent for something like this. So how will this work? How does this play out?
Well, I think because we're dealing with extremely sensitive government documents, it's going to take a long time for it to play out. They need to go through protocols about sharing the documents with the lawyers, making sure that they're able to see them. And so between that and the campaign, I think this is going to be hanging over the entire election.
So what you're saying is there's a good chance that this will happen concurrently along with the campaign. So the whole thing is going to play out at the same time.
Along with, and I can't see it being completed by November 2024.
How does something like that happen, though? He is allowed to run despite all of this?
The only rules for running is that you have to be 35, you have to be a citizen, or you have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen. You have to have lived in the United States for a certain number of years. Beyond that, anyone can be president.
And I know that you were talking before about the other people, the other contenders for the GOP nomination. How does this hurt or help our governor?
I think for Ron DeSantis has a math problem. With Donald Trump being at 50 or 60% in the polls, he can't win DeSantis, right? So he's got to find a way to bring Trump down. He's trying to make a case based upon ideology, based upon electability, but it's going to be very difficult to make that case when someone defines modern republicanism and has already been elected president once. So I think for DeSantis, the real, the goal, what he's going to have to do is to go on attack.
And so do we expect that to happen now? Is that what we can expect in the coming weeks?
It's unclear when they're going to do it. It's not going to be easy for someone like Ron DeSantis to take on the standard bearer of the Republican Party, and he's going to know that there are going to be attacks coming back from Donald Trump as well. So it's going to be a real tough decision for the DeSantis campaign.
When you look back in history, is there anything that compares to this moment at all, as far as elections, as far as anything like this?
I think we're into fairly new ground. I think in other countries you've seen former leaders fall under judicial investigation, and that's just a direction that we're going in this country. In the past, once you were president, you kind of enjoyed goodwill and you were past your career. Now I think we're moving on both sides towards looking at former presidents more intently.
All right, John Hanley, thank you so much for joining us. And to recap, Trump is expected to address the charges tonight at 8:15 at his golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey. We will have full coverage on Fox 35 at 10 and 11. You can also watch it live on the News Edge at 8 on Fox 35 Plus and our website, fox35orlando.com.